Hello and greetings, this is K9. I'm going to cover a topic that I tried to cover before, and as I reviewed my videos I found that I didn't really like the content in there, and I think what might have happened was I might have uploaded the incorrect video for that particular topic, so I'm going to try and replace it. What I'm going to cover today is how to generate GMP in the game, especially early in game, so that you can get better weapons developed, so you can get your bases built, etc. So what you want to do is, especially if you're brand new to the game, is you want to hit your tab key if you've gotten that far into the game to where you actually have an i-droid after you get out of the hospital and run another mission or so. You pick up Miller and he sets you up, and Ocelot, and he sets you up with an i-droid, which is your control center. So you hit your tab key to get into there, and if you want to go into your mother base side on this side, you look at development and where you can develop your weapons and your equipment and things like that, and it all costs GMP, or your generalized military product, or your gross military product, which is your currency, which, just like the dollar, is backed by nothing. And you get to build your base facilities, which I've got my base built on this account, and I'm working on the FOV, but that all costs money. Costs GMP. So how do you actually generate enough GMP to get the upgrades and the development that you need to get to where you want to go? Well, that's the topic we're going to cover. And early on in the game, what you find is you tab over using your 1 and 3 key, left and right on the tabs, to get to your mission key, and you go into your mission list.
Please select a mission.
And you notice that there's a GMP column, which is second or third column from the right in this list, and each mission has a GMP award to it. What you find out about the missions, though, is that while you can repeat the missions, the GMP reward will basically be cut in half every time. And if you'll notice, one of the missions that I like to run is Aim True, Ye Vengeful, for the ability to reverse what's called demon points, which in-game you never hear about, but it does exist, they just don't tell you about it. Where if you kill enough people and end up accumulating enough demon points, once you get to 25,000 demon points, you actually start to see it on Snake, is the blood doesn't wash off eventually, and the horn that he's got, protruding from his shrapnel in his skull gets larger and larger and larger, and he starts to look really nasty, in my opinion. Some people like that kind of thing, but what this particular mission does, gives you the opportunity to reverse that process in the way that I do it, which I have another video on. But if you repeat these missions, you get less and less GMP. So there's only so much GMP there, so what else can you do? Well, there's also a side op mission list that you have GMP rewards for. You can see I've done a lot of these, and there's still some that are there. And I want to call your attention to the fact that this says extract the highly skilled soldier. Some of these come back and are repeatable, some of them are not repeatable. So I've already done this one once, but they're offering it to me again. Most of the time, though, if you liked a particular side op, a lot of them are not repeatable. And when they are, although they are similar, this is a similar mission, go in and grab the highly skilled soldier, but it's at a different area, and likely a different ability level. So this one is usually easier than this one. So although you're getting higher GMP awards, it also takes a little bit better skill set. And this one happens in Afghanistan, and that one happens in Africa, which is the reason for the trees versus the mountains. So, you can go in and do some side ops, but a lot of these side ops are not repeatable, and when you do go in, they continue to get harder and harder. So by the time you actually get to the point where side ops start to become a bigger challenge, one, your skill set will get you there better. The other thing is that by the time you get there, and you have to go all the way into Lufo Valley and go to the Lufo Valley estate, which can be a bit of a challenge, for nearly 200,000 GMP, or 180,000 GMP, to go in for the side op called Unlucky Dog 4. By that time, you're probably into a higher GMP earning situation, which is your FOV missions, and we'll talk about that. But here's the thing you can do early. You can do your missions, you can do your side missions, but one of the things that while you're doing that you can do to upgrade what you're getting out of those runs is this. Come into your development area and make sure that under weapons and items
Please specify a project.
That you're over here on the right-hand side, second column from the right, third column from the right, sorry, into what's called Tools, and come down to these items called your Fulton Device. And what the Fulton Device allows you to do is blow up a balloon and attach it to something you want to pull out of the balloon. Early on, it's personnel, because you need to add personnel to your base, which go into the brig, and as they basically get attuned to your philosophy, they'll be released from the brig and they join your team. But later on, you get to add something called the Cargo 1 upgrade. And what that allows you to do is extract gun emplacements, which you can then sell for GMP. And it's the difference between what you paid in GMP for using the Fulton Device, which has a cost to it, and what you're able to sell that gun emplacement for. There is a net, all right? There's a cost, but there's also a net positive. The Cargo 2 emplacement is what you want to get to as soon as you possibly can. And how you do this, let me see if I can find something that isn't developed yet. I've got everything on here developed. Let me see if I can find something else that's not developed. Okay, here's something that's not developed. Notice it has a requirements window that comes up. The only thing I'm missing on this for requirements is something called a cybernetics specialist. So I can go out and find the mission that offers me the opportunity to come up with a cybernetics specialist on this particular item. I could build this. That's one of the things you want to pay attention to, is how much GMP does it cost me, and basically what your return on that investment. Where's my R&D and my medical
Caution,
facility?
Rain approaching.
What level is that at? And do I actually have the cybernetics specialist that I need to do this? So keep your eye on those things, but you want to get to your Fulton Device to where you could at least do Cargo 2, and better yet, this one down here, which takes another set of missions that you have to get through. And it's a wormhole. I'll explain how that one works here in a little bit. But at Cargo 2, at Cargo 1 you get to extract gun emplacements, which you can turn around and sell. But at Cargo 2 you get to start extracting cargo containers, which contain all your raw materials, which get processed into usable materials, your vehicles, your anti-air replacements, your containers, and things like tanks. And while a Jeep might sell for $20,000, it also costs $10,000 to get it out using the Fulton Device. But so you have a net of 10,000 GMP, which isn't great, but it's positive money. And Jeeps are pretty easy to find once you get in game. Trucks sell for $30,000 but cost $10,000, so it's a net of 20. Anti-air replacements and things like that, they sell for a little bit more. And where you want to get to is where you're pulling out mechanized armored vehicles and tanks sell for $100,000. And I forgot to actually take a look at what the Fulton cost is on those, but I'm sure it's more than 10 grand. But the net on that is much, much higher. So as you start getting into the side ops of go get the tank unit, we'll go back over to missions, look at the side op, and see if we can come up with eliminate the tank unit. You go in and grab the tank unit, and there could be not only a tank but also a armored vehicle along with it that you can pull out and of course sell. So when you're selling those, how does that work? Well, I can go into Mother Base, go into my resources, base resources, and go over to where my vehicles are. Okay, there's my vehicles. I've got a number of four-wheel drive vehicles that I'm sure I don't need, and they're worth $20,000 each. They cost me $10,000 to put them in. So if I want to make $190,000, I'll sell 19 of those like this. You hit the enter key, right mouse button until you get up to the number that you want to sell. I said I'd sell 19 of them. It'll net me $38,000, but just understand it cost me $19,000 to actually Fulton those out. So it's a positive net of $19,000, but you sell those and you end up with more GMP. Okay, and that's basically what you want to do, is just figure out, well, how many do I actually need? And I was going with, of the Jeeps and the trucks and whatnot, I was going with like an inventory of 5, and basically tended to keep my fighting vehicles, I've got 18 tanks, and they're 100,000 each. I could have a quick million here if I just sold 10 of them, but it cost me some money to put those in place. So if I sold 12 of them, I probably would cover my costs and end up with a net of $1 million. So just get in there and sell the stuff. And you can also sell your gun emplacements, which I have a nice cadre of. I can sure afford to sell a few of those and generate some money. And you can sell the things that you have accumulated, the things that your combat forces have gone out and running your dispatch missions and come back with if you have a nice surplus. Chances are you probably want to keep a lot of this though, because you end up using it. Processed materials, unprocessed materials, if you have a nice surplus of those, and you could sell those for cash too. So you can get in and sell some stuff. But where most of the money is going to come from is after you get early on in game, which is what we've covered so far. Do the missions, do the side missions, get your Fulton devices up to where you become a good thief, because the thing about this game, the way they set up the being able to generate GMP, is they made you a thief, which isn't necessarily my first choice. But the thing is, you know, if you steal from your enemy and take away their ability to conduct war, that'll earn you a Medal of Valor, whereas doing the same thing in peacetime will make you a felon and they'll put you in jail. So the things that'll make you a felon in peacetime will get you the Medal of Valor in wartime. But that's basically the way the game runs. So if you want to get more money for what you're running, what you want to do is get over here to where your FOB missions are, because when you come back from an FOB mission, while you might make $150 or $180 or $200,000 on a mission the first time you run it, and a lot less the second time you run it, the FOB missions, once you learn how to do them, pay you pretty well, a couple $100,000. I think the least I made on an FOB mission was like $350,000. So in the FOB missions, let's get in here. Oh, I should tell you how you actually get there, because you can't do it early on in game. You have to come up to your mission list,
select a mission,
and you have to work all the way through your missions until you get to mission number 22, where you take the platform. And what that is a rogue agent called Mosquito, who I think actually worked with you for at one point, comes back and basically takes one of the platforms and holds your people hostage, and you actually have to come through and work through several platforms to get back to the main platform, your objective, and capture him or kill him. And that qualifies you to go into the FOB missions. Oops, wrong area. Let's go back out and go into the FOB missions. Once you get through mission 22, the easiest place, and I say the easiest, and it may actually be these people that they give you right up front, is they compare your espionage score and your defense capability with other people in the game that have similar capabilities. And they give you a list of people, 10, that you can actually go compete against. And you go into their FOB and you try and beat their defenses with your skill set. And if you do that, you're paid pretty well. Early on in game, they're giving you some people that probably haven't even started yet. But if you have done well there, you can learn here in the FOB events that are put in for you. And this one is currently here at the beginning of February in 2017, called Freedom of Impression. And they give you that explanation, which you can pause and read through if you'd like. And the FOBs that I've seen so far, the FOB events since I've been playing game for about the last 2 months or so, is they give you 2 platforms to work through in the different kinds of platforms, and give you the opportunity to learn the platforms, which I suggest you do. Start with 1 or 2, learn them. I've even got some demos as to how I get through them in easy mode, which I think are worthy of watching, so that you pick up some things that'll get you started. And work through them, and as you get good at 1 or 2, add a third one, and I've got an example on all 7 of these that you can walk through, and that I give you a walkthrough on, you can learn from. But get started on these, because when you walk through this and you finish this, what comes through, if you look down at the bottom, your reward is a GMP of 537,000 GMP, some of which also has a cost to it in dispersing you and getting you started. But what you walk away with is about 450,000 GMP. And if you run a couple of those, you've got a couple of million that is ready to build you better weapons and build your base facilities, which is where most of your GMP is likely to come from. And as you learn how to get through all the FOBs and go visit your own base, one, it raises your morale of your troops. But when I go back to Mother Base, I pick a different area to go through, and I walk through and I learn the platforms, saying hello to my guys, raising their morale, running around my platform a little bit, to learn what the platforms were like.
Approaching.
And then you run these FOBs, and eventually you get to the point where your skills are good enough that when you come in here, you can go compete against people that are at your level, and if you want to go one over, people that are high-ranking paramilitary forces in your basic category that are a little bit better than you. And if you could beat them up, sometimes they'll pay you $1.5 million to $2.5 million. If your skill set is good enough to go up against somebody whose base is well defended. So that's where the GMP comes from. And on another account, on this account, I've only got 180 or 1.8 million currently because I've been still developing bases and my FOB isn't even built up yet. But that's where most of your GMP is going to come from, and you'll find as you get that to that point, on my other account, I'm locked at 30 million because they won't allow you to have any more GMP than 30 million. Well, why would you need any more money than that? And I'm sorry, I'm a capitalist. If I earned it, I want it. That kind of bugs me, but that's the nature of this game. So if you want to build up enough GMP so that you can do the things that you want and get in and develop the things that you want and get the kind of weaponry that you want, if you notice, a lot of my weapons are already developed.
Please specify a project.
So that you have the kind of weaponry that you want to develop, you need the GMP to do it, and this is how to get that done. So I hope I've given you some hints as to where the GMP comes from and things that you can concentrate on to get yourself there. Oh, the other thing I want to mention to you is as you're going in and developing your things, both your base and your weaponry, understand that you've got an assault weapon here, but you also have an assault weapon down here. And if you notice in the green lettering it says equipable by your security staff, just look ahead and maybe start with that one so that when you get to doing your FOBs, you've already got a weapon that your security staff can use. So you're not developing and putting GMP and putting your resources into developing something that your security staff needs one and you need something different. Because you get down here, I also use this weapon, the UNARC. I use it for its non-lethal version, and I've developed that out. But notice, I haven't developed this, and I haven't developed that because I don't use it. So just do a little reading beforehand and figure out exactly what you need. And when I come down here, if I want to develop this weapon, look at what the requirements are. I need an R&D team worth 36, level 36, plus a blueprint for the G44. So I go into my R&D team, figuring out what are my resources, what do I need to do this. My R&D team needs to go up. So when I need that done, and I start running FOB missions, I'm going to go over to my FOB missions while I'm learning, go into the FOB event, and if I need R&D, I'm going to run the R&D platform and get good at that, because at the end, your volunteers, the people that you actually abscond with or kidnap on the platform when you finish it successfully, are R&D people. And when you go through the rewards at the end, the volunteers that you get for running the R&D platform have R&D stats. So that builds your level of your R&D people. And if you find that what you're building needs an intel, you go in and do the intel platform, and that gives you intel people. So you just need to be judicious about what you're choosing and where you're putting your money, so that if the weapon that I want to build requires R&D level and requires intel level when I'm running my FOB events for more GMP, I want to get good at the R&D and the intel first so that I can build the weapon that I want. So you just have to put some thought into it. Knowing that stuff is coming gives you the opportunity to plan better. I'll show you one more thing. Actually, I needed to actually get in there. Once you choose to go out on a mission, and notice that the level changed as I go in and out, it reevaluates what I'm looking for, and did I actually take them up on this last time around, and if I did not, why not, and maybe they'll change what they're offering me. So this is actually Frankie V3's FOB, and if I go in there and I want something easier, I might go into one platform on the command platform, but if I'm looking for R&D, I might have to go through 3 platforms of defense, or if I'm looking for base development people or support people, I'll go into a support platform and he'll give me 2 platforms to go through. And notice his defenses and the number of people are also listed on the right, which are good to pay attention to as you're getting to do these. But I'm just going to go in here, and once you actually choose as to where you're going to input at, you get this screen. And here's the other thing you need to go through, is figure out on your loadouts on the right hand side, I can hit my 1 to 3 key and go through 3 predetermined loadouts that I get to choose. This one is mainly non-lethal. This one's lethal, and this one's very lethal, which I also sometimes put a rocket launcher in. And just figure out what weapons you're going to use and what combinations they're going to be, so that you're making those choices beforehand. And if I'm going to select a character, I can also go in here and figure out, you know, what's my skill set? Do I need to actually wear the battle dress where I'm, you know, more protected because my skill set is going to get me shot at more often rather than being stealthy? So just make wise decisions as to where you're spending the gross military product, the GMP, also, so that you're not spending it unwisely, so that you have more of it to work with. Alright, so I hope you actually learned a few things that'll help you. I hope you have a good time in game, and that any hints that I've given you here improve your gaming experience and that you have fun. Alright, K9 out.